Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. We're here to read, and we shall read the Bhagavatam. We're going to bring it a little bit closer.
Okay, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 31. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 31. The personality of Godhead said, knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. Purport. Lord Brahma is the topmost devotee of the Lord within the universe, and therefore the personality of Godhead replied to his four principal inquiries in four important statements, which are known as the original Bhagavatam in 4 verses.
Chatur Shloki.
These were Brahma's questions. Number 1. What are the forms of the Lord both in matter and in transcendence? Number 2. How are the different energies of the Lord working? Number 3. How does the Lord play with his different energies? And number 4. How may Brahma be instructed to discharge the duty entrusted to him? The prelude to the answers is this verse under discussion, wherein the Lord informs Brahma that knowledge of him, the Supreme Absolute Truth, as it is stated in the revealed scriptures, is very subtle and cannot be understood unless one is self-realized by the grace of the Lord. The Lord says that Brahma may take the questions as he explains them. This means that transcendental knowledge of the Absolute Supreme Being can be known if it is made known by the Lord himself. By the mental speculation of the greatest mundane thinkers, the Absolute Truth cannot be understood. The mental speculators can reach up to the standard of impersonal Brahman realization, but factually, complete knowledge of transcendence is beyond the knowledge of impersonal Brahman. Thus it is called the Supreme Confidential Wisdom. Out of many liberated souls, someone may be qualified to know the personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said by the Lord himself that out of many hundreds of thousands of people, one may try perfection in human life, and out of many liberated souls, one may know him as he is. Therefore, the knowledge... This is a long paragraph, isn't it?
Yeah.
Therefore, the knowledge... Do you want to read it?
If you want.
Yeah, all right.
Therefore, the knowledge of the personality of Godhead may be attained by devotional service only. Rahasyam means devotional service. Lord Krishna instructed Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita because he found Arjuna to be a devotee and friend. I'm trying to remember that verse. Without such qualifications, one cannot enter into the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, one cannot understand the personality of Godhead unless one becomes a devotee and discharges devotional service. This mystery is love of Godhead. So there you go. That's the mystery. This mystery is love of Godhead. Therein lies the main qualification for knowing the mystery of the personality of Godhead. And to attain the stage of transcendental love of Godhead, regulative principles of devotional service must be followed. The regulative principles are called Vidhi Bhakti, or the devotional service of the Lord, and they can be practiced by a neophyte with his present senses. Such regulative principles are mainly based on hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. And such hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord can be made possible in the association of devotees only. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended 5 main principles for attaining perfection in the devotional service of the Lord. The first is association with devotees, hearing. The second is chanting the glories of the Lord. Third, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the pure devotee.
Whoa, Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, thanks, yeah. Fourth, residing in a holy place connected with the Lord. The fifth, worshiping the deity of the Lord with devotion. Such rules and regulations are parts of devotional service. So, as requested by Lord Brahma, the personality of Godhead will explain all about the 4 questions put forward by Brahma and others also, which are parts and parcels of the same questions. So this is a really important prelude to the Chatur Shloki, the 4 seed verses of the Bhagavatam. And we can see here that the prelude is questions. So Lord Brahma has inquired from the Lord, from Krishna, from Govinda. Remember, this is the section where Lord Brahma is meeting Krishna face to face. It describes that he comes and shakes his hand because he's performed the penance. God bless you. Because he's performed penance on the lotus after he couldn't find anyone, but he heard the words tapa, or the 2 syllables that formed the word tapa, and therefore he performed austerity, and that way the Lord became pleased with him, and he revealed Vaikuntha, revealed the spiritual world to him, and this is where the knowledge for writing the Brahma Samhita comes. So the famous Govindam Adipursham Tamaham Bhajami. So those prayers were written because of this. So at this stage, or at this time, Lord Brahma begins to inquire from the Lord. And the questions, just to remind us, what are the forms of the Lord both in matter and in transcendence? What are the forms of the Lord in matter and in transcendence? How are the different energies of the Lord working? How does the Lord play with his different energies? And how may Brahma be instructed to discharge the duty entrusted to him? So this is Srila Prabhupada's rephrasing of those questions, because we've read the questions already. So the questions are there. Anyway, we could go back and please tell me that I may be taught in the matter by the instruction of the person I made. And so he's asked these questions already. Here we are. I'm praying to you by your transcendence. So he says, please inform me how you, by your own self, manifest different energies for the annihilation, generation, acceptance, maintenance by combination and permutation. We might not even have understood that as a question. So Srila Prabhupada puts that in a good way. Please tell me philosophically all about them. That's another question. Tell me philosophically about these different energies. You play like a spider, remember this, that covers itself by its own energy, and your determination is infallible. Please tell me so that I may be taught in the matter of the instruction of the personality of Godhead, and may thus act instrumentally. So now this is the question, how may I act to generate living entities without being conditioned by such activities? So, and then we come to this. So Prabhupada is so like that. So then Srila Prabhupada is rephrasing these questions, and it's very powerful. And of course, this whole point at the end about, and I was trying, Bhaktosi me sakachati rahasham. See, rahasham is in that verse. Bhaktosi me sakachati. I have to find it. But Bhaktosi me sakachati. So one has to be a bhakta. Because you are my bhakta, Arjuna, and my devotee. You're my bhakta and my saka, my friend. So therefore, I can reveal this confidential knowledge to you. So like that. So only by bhakti can the Lord be known. So it's explained by the acharyas that therefore Lord Brahma, when he performed that penance, he was actually in a mood of service. That's why the Lord appeared to him face to face and directly. So anyway, sorry, I just rambled on a bit, but I thought it was important to catch everybody up in case you didn't remember, and it is a little confusing, and it's nice to understand the storyline. Is that okay? she agrees. Okay.
Text 32. Is this the seed verses?
No, I don't think it starts just.
It starts 33. No?
Yeah.
Alright, 32. All of me, namely my actual eternal form, and my transcendental existence, colour, qualities, and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. Purport. The secret of success in understanding the intricacies of knowledge of the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is the causeless mercy of the Lord. The personality of... Even in the material world, the father of many sons discloses a secret of his position to the pet sons. The father discloses the confidence unto the son whom he thinks worthy. An important man in the social order can be known by his mercy only. Similarly, one must be very dear to the Lord in order to know the Lord. The Lord is unlimited. No one can know him completely, but one's advancement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord can make one eligible to know the Lord. Here we can see that the Lord is sufficiently pleased with Brahmaji, and therefore he offers his causeless mercy to him, so that Brahmaji may have the factual realization of the Lord by his mercy only.
Interesting. So Brahma is like a pet son to Krishna. Basically, that's what's being said, huh?
Yeah. Well, he's the only son at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah. In the Vedas also it is said that a person cannot know the absolute truth, personality of Godhead, simply by dint of mundane education or intellectual gymnastics. One can know the supreme truth if one has unflinching faith in the bona fide spiritual master as well as in the Lord. Such a faithful person, even though illiterate in the mundane sense, can know the Lord automatically by the mercy of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita also it is said that the Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone, and he keeps himself concealed from the faithless by his yoga maya potency.
To the faithful, the Lord reveals himself in his form, quality, and pastimes. The Lord is not formless as wrongly conceived by the impersonalists, but his form is not like one that we have experienced. The Lord discloses his form even to the extent of measurement to his pure devotees, and that is the meaning of Yavan, as explained by Srila Jiva Goswami, the greatest scholar of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, Jiva Goswami is respected scholar. Even amongst Western scholars, he's understood to be exalted. Having compiled the Sandarbhas, Sandarbhas, he's just understood to be a great scholar and philosopher. The Lord discloses the transcendental nature of his existence. The mundane wranglers make mundane conceptions of the form of the Lord. It is said in the revealed scriptures that the Lord has no mundane form. Therefore, persons with a poor fund of knowledge conclude that he must be formless. They cannot distinguish between the mundane form and the spiritual form. According to them, without a mundane form, one must be formless. This conclusion is also mundane because formlessness is the opposite conception of form. Negation of the mundane conception does not establish a transcendental fact. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord has a transcendental form and that he can utilize any one of his senses for any purpose. For example, he can eat with his eyes, he can see with his legs. In the mundane conception of form, one cannot eat with one's eyes or see with his leg. That is the difference between the mundane body and the spiritual body of Satchit Ananda. A spiritual body is not formless. It is a different type of body of which we cannot conceive with our present mundane senses. Formless, therefore, means devoid of mundane form, or possessing a spiritual body of which the non-devotee can have no conception by the speculative method.
The Lord
Please read that last part. Formless, therefore, means devoid of mundane form, or possessing a spiritual body of which the non-devotee can have no conception. Okay. Interesting.
The Lord discloses to the devotee his unlimited varieties of transcendental bodies, all identical with one another with different kinds of bodily features. Some of the transcendental bodies of the Lord are blackish, and some of them are whitish. Some of them are reddish, and some of them are yellowish. Some of them are four-handed, and some of them are two-handed. Some of them are like the fish, some are like the lion. All these different transcendental bodies of the Lord, without any differential category, are disclosed to the devotees of the Lord by the mercy of the Lord. And thus the impersonalist false arguments claiming the formlessness of the Supreme Truth do not appeal to a devotee of the Lord, even though such a devotee may not be very advanced in devotional service.
The Lord has unlimited numbers of transcendental qualities, and one of them is his affection for his unalloyed devotee. In the history of the mundane world, we can appreciate his transcendental qualities. The Lord incarnates himself for the protection of his devotees and for the annihilation of the faithless. His activities are in relationship with his devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of such activities of the Lord in relationship with his devotees, and the non-devotees have no knowledge of such pastimes. The Lord lifted the Govardhan hill when he was only 7 years old, and protected his pure devotees at Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra, who was overflooding the place with rain. Now this lifting of the Govardhan hill by a 7-year-old boy may be unbelievable for the faithless, but for the devotees it is absolutely believable. The devotee believes in the almighty potency of the Lord, while the faithless says that the Lord is almighty, but do not believe it. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge do not know that the Lord is the Lord eternally, and that one cannot become the Lord by meditation for millions of years, or by mental speculation for billions of years.
The impersonal interpretation of the mundane wranglers is completely refuted in this verse, because it is clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord has his qualities, form, pastimes, and everything that a person has. All these descriptions of the transcendental nature of the personality of Godhead are factual realizations by the devotee of the Lord, and by the causeless mercy of the Lord they are revealed to his pure devotee and to no one else.
Interesting. What was your realization from that
Well,
purport?
my realization was that it says here that the devotee accepts, if you say Krishna or God, lifted Govardhan hill and he was 7 years old, and then he's saying, the devotee thinks, why not? And the non-devotee is like, no. But the thing is, the non-devotee also has to accept it, because at least from a practical from a practical non-devotional point of view, surely we can accept what the absolute truth is, even if you don't accept there is an absolute truth. If there is an absolute truth, it means that he, she, it must be all, encompassing all strength, all renunciation, must have these qualities. So let's say there is no God. That's no problem.
So you're talking about the hypothetical concept of,
You don't need to accept, and I don't need to convince you. That's fine. That's your stuff. But I'm saying, if, for the sake of moving on in a discussion, an absolute truth has to have these qualities. So in that sense, an absolute truth, there's not a problem to pick up a hill. In fact, that's nothing. You can pick up a planet and...
Well, yeah, that's the point, isn't it? He's balancing so many planets.
Yes,
the sun, the whole universes.
Yeah, but non-devotees say no, he isn't, because we can't. But no, but let's first, before you have that argument, that discussion, do you accept that if there was an absolute truth, he could do these things by definition of being the absolute truth? Yes. By definition of being the absolute truth, you can do those things.
Yeah. Again, the hypothetical conception of God or the absolute truth would mean that,
which means that
he could do whatever.
So my point is that the devotee clearly accepts it out of sentiment or love or devotion, and the atheist will accept. We both accept the same thing. I accept it for my different. You may say I'm sentimental. That's why I accept it, or because of you're a devotee, but you also got to accept it on the theoretical level.
On a theoretical level, yeah.
But the point is that we both accept it. So what's what I mean? It's like because you can't go forward in that argument without understanding the definition of God, and then accepting. Well, yeah, okay. If theoretically accept there's a God, so then yeah, of course you could do that. Of course you can. So yeah, I think I've outwitted everyone.
There you have it. Amazing.
Yes, I might write a book.
Well, I hope so. Okay, so I'm not sure how long we've been reading.
I don't know.
But so we're about to start the first verse.
Oh, so should we?
And it's of the seed verses, and it's at least 12 pages.
Maybe we dedicate that to the next one, like just that.
So everyone can stay tuned. This is the cliffhanger. So we're about to start the 4 seed verses. We've done 2 verses in prelude and a bit of a kind of revision or review.
Discussion.
So we're going to catch up or start next time with the actual seed verse. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.